This podcast contains strong language and discussions about relationships and sex. It may not be suitable for younger listeners. This is the Sex in Singapore City podcast, and I'm Nixalina Watson. Hello, everyone. It's Nixalina. And welcome back to another episode of my awesome podcast. This is a request episode, and it's actually something I hadn't really thought about until I got this chick's message. I'll keep it anonymous, my darling, as always, with all of my content. So she wrote to me previously and said how awesome my podcast was, and she tunes in every week. And then she asked me, what is the right time to meet the person who you're dating, friends or family? In that she's just started dating a guy and she met his friends and family, but it was all a bit uncomfortable and a bit off. And she basically wants to know, like, is there a good time? Is there a right time? Is it a bit weird? She feels that she made a really bad first impression. To put it in perspective, it was on their second date, right? Yeah, she'd met a guy, first date, second date, she meets his friends and kind of introduces her to everyone. So she's basically asking me, when is the right time? When is it too soon, if it is too soon, and any tips when it comes to meeting your potential dates, friends and family, which is a really good idea, actually. So thank you, girl, for that. It works both ways. So it's a gender fluid episode. So this is about when do you, if you do, introduce the person you're dating to the other people in your life. I'm going to give an example. I dated a footballer in the UK. I think he played for Tottenham, but like not the main one, not the main Tottenham thing. I don't know. You can tell I'm into football, right? Anywho, I actually really liked him. He was very funny. I can't even remember. I think we met on a dating site. He used to come around my apartment quite a lot. By that time, I'd already bought my own place, so he would always come over. And it kind of become, for me, a natural progression about 3 months in, where I was having a family meal. I think it was someone's birthday, or we were just getting together. And it was my mum, my stepdad, my sister's partner, and I invited him along. For me, it was very, like, here's my family, but super chill. It was a restaurant near where I lived. He was coming down that day. I'd kind of already cleared it by him. And he's like, yeah, it's cool, it's fine. Yeah, it'd be nice. And then after that time, he kind of went a bit weird and eventually we broke up. And I think he basically, I know, he got scared off. He all felt a bit much because he was at my apartment 3 or 4 times a week off his own admission. I wasn't, dragging him there. And I think this meeting my family portrayed a vision of me that he was like, whoa, fuck that. Too fast, too soon. That's not the first time that's happened, whether it involves friends or family, where I've kind of introduced a guy to the people in my life and it's been like, whoa. And it seems to be that there's this stigma attached still when you meet the person's friends or family, that it's like a thing, because obviously if you're, going on a Tinder date with someone you barely know, or you've met a guy a couple of times, you're not really going to hang out with them and your mum or your cousin or your best mate down the beach. You could do, to be fair, it's, hanging out down the beach with your friends and the guy says, oh, I'm around, like, can I come join you? To me, that seems pretty normal. But for some reason, there is this heavy stigma attached to like, oh, it's going really fast. Or like, if I meet the friends and family, then we're thing. And I feel like that's what happened in my example. And just one example, because I don't need to give any more. It's the same shit, different story. Is, well, this is too fast. Oh, God, I've met her family. Or, oh, God, I've met her friends. She must think I'm her boyfriend. We haven't even had that conversation yet. I'm not her boyfriend. Oh, does that mean I can't see other women? Oh, God, this is all too much. Oh, I've got sucked in and, oh, it's over. FYI, it wasn't over. It was not the last time I saw him because guys can't stay away. But yeah, what is that about? Let's talk about it. If the shoe was on the other foot. So I always try to make it as even as subjective as I can. I had a boyfriend. I say boyfriend. It was like dating for I think a couple of weeks, and he was besotted with me. Young, a lot younger than I was, very adorable guy. Like would come and pick me up outside work and drive the 50 minutes home from London to where I used to live, just to come and get me. And like he was super full on from the get go in all spheres. Like I wasn't used to that kind of immediate tension. And he then had I think it was like an anniversary in his family or something like that. It was a family celebration, and he was like, oh, I spoke to my mum about you, I spoke to my brother, like we were so excited that you're coming. And it freaked me out, and I didn't go, and I feel really bad, but I kind of then phased him out after that. I just sort of said, I'm really sorry. Oh, felt really awful. It was like kicking a puppy. Poor little boy. I feel terrible. But it did. It fucking freaked me out. But why? Because for me, once again, in the same way, this is why I understand how the men feel. I was like, shit, he thinks I'm his girlfriend. If I turn up at that family anniversary party, holding his hand, talking to his mum, his dad, his brother, I am like his partner. And I just couldn't handle that. And I wasn't his partner, and it made me feel weird. It also made me kind of, if I'm honest, find him quite unattractive, because if I'm honest, it gave off a very desperate air to me, like desperately trying to seal the deal and desperately trying to get me in there in a few weeks. And he was wanting to show me off and was very sweet, but that's not how I felt about it. So yeah, I get both sides, right? Is there a too soon? No, because everything is case by case. But I would always suggest getting to know each other first, the pair of you, before you embark on bringing other people in. Everyone's got their own opinions. Everyone will put their opinions in. You know, you start dating a guy or a girl, and your boyfriend or girlfriend will tell, like, oh, you know, this is just your type, or no, she's not right for you. Everyone will always jump in with their opinions. If they actually meet that person at such an early stage, their opinions will completely interlace with how you feel and maybe overcome it a little bit. And I think you should always give that breathing space to find out whether you like this person or not. Just you, and the same for that person. So you're not interfering with anyone. It's just you two for however long it takes to go like, yeah, we're a thing. And it doesn't have to be long. Me and my partner, we took like a week, 2 weeks. I mean, that just goes to show, right? Because the other example I gave you, I was like a week, 2 weeks. Oh my God, it's too much. Within like 2 weeks of knowing my boyfriend, he was practically moving in with me. And I haven't been able to get rid of him since. That was 4 years ago. So there is no time limit as such. I think it does depend on the person to person and case by case. But if I had to give an outright rule, then leave it like at least a month, 4 weeks just to hang out, or like say you're doing a date a week or 2 dates, like God, 8 dates even. You know, I feel like hanging out with friends should come, at least a month in. And then it can be like, hey, I've got this cool party. Or, hey, I'm at the beach with my friends. Why don't you come hang? And then you're kind of more comfortable with that person. You know, you've met them loads. You're like, you understand how you feel about them. You're like, yeah, I like this person. Come and hang with your friends. And they can obviously bring their friends or their family, whatever, down. And it doesn't have to be them and your mates or vice versa. It can be a big group. But I do think sometimes it can put the kiss of death on it if you kind of rush these things. And I think meeting the family and friends is quite a rush. Friends is a little less severe. Say like, you know, you're clicking it off straight away and he's like, oh, I've got a house party, which obviously won't be happening now because it's only a maximum of 5. I have a 5 max house party that you can't come because it's 5 of us already. But hey, back in the day when we could actually, you know, mingle, he might be like, hey, I've got a house party, it's cool, why don't you come? And you're like, yeah. It might even be a nice icebreaker date. Like, it's not just us two. I get to see how he reacts around other people, and I get to see how he introduces me. You know, is he affectionate in public? Is he introducing me, hey, this is Nick, she's a blogger, is he positive? It's a good thing. I personally think it's better if that comes a little later down the line. So my example is a girl who's asked me about this, and hers was the second date. I have been on a first date before with someone I thought was like, oh my God, amazing. And then by second date, I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. And it was like two different people. And that's not happened that once. That happened quite a lot in my 20s, where I've obviously formulated in my head some idea of a guy. And then by date 2 or 3, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened to this dude? Or he's just let his guard down, stopped with airs and graces and shown me who he really was. So for me, if I met his friends in date 2, I still don't know who he is, you know? Of course, if it's a time frame as well, right? So if it was date 1 in April and you speak every day, and then date 2 happens to be May, maybe he's aware, whatever. Then if there's been a long time frame, okay, fine, I can get that, because you started to really develop a friendship and a relationship just by communication on your phone. But if it's like, okay, we've swiped on Tinder, or a friend introduced us and we had a date on Sunday, and then by Friday he wants me to hang out with his friends, that would freak me out a little bit. I'm not going to lie. That would be like, actually, I think it's a bit soon. And it doesn't have to be an issue. You can just be like, oh, no, actually, I'm going to sort of like chill out at home that night. You know, don't make it a thing. And I think with the family, as I learned the hard way, the family is a big deal, especially meeting the parents. The mum and the dad is going to have to be something that you embark on when you're both pretty sure that you want to be with each other. It is the stigma, but I think it's still very much attached to that one. If you meet the parents, you're a couple. You know that the parents' meet and greet is the seal of the deal that you two are together. So the time limit, whilst it shouldn't exist, I believe it does. It is case by case, but I reckon give it a month, just the two of you, really, before you embark on this next step, which is a next step in the relationship. She also mentioned that she felt she didn't make a very good, strong impression in the first get-go. Honey, just always be yourself, right? If they don't like you, they can fuck off. I never worry about making an impression unless it's in an interview for a job I really want. Other than that, I am myself. If I have too many drinks and I swear a little bit too much, or my accent changes from British to American to Australian after I've had some Prosecco, whatever, that's me. You know, I make jokes. Sometimes they're dry humor. Sometimes they're terrible. Sometimes I fall asleep when I've had too many drinks. Sometimes I get a little bit leery. Like, never ever worry about making a good or bad first impression if you know in your heart and heart you are just exactly who you are, because that's all you should ever be. Unless it's a job interview, then don't be who you are. Be the perfect version of yourself for however long that interview takes. And always do your top button up. And on that note, this is the end of this episode. I hope it helps. Any comments, as always, message me, Instagram, Nixalina, at Nixalina. Peace out, people. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Sex and Singapore City podcast. This episode was produced and hosted by me, Nixalina Watson, and recorded at the Splicecast studio in Singapore. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and all major podcast listening apps. Do subscribe for a new episode every single week. Please do give us a 5-star review. It helps other people find our podcast. We're also on social media with Facebook and the Gram. Don't be shy, send me a message and come say hello. For more information and to read more articles, please do come over and say hey at sexandsingaporecity.com. That's sex and and singaporecity.com.